Hi, I'm Carly, and I'm excited to tell you about Condair's DL Series Hybrid Adiabatic Humidifier. Follow along to learn more about this unique system and how you can properly size and select it using Condair's help software. Condair's web-based help software is just one of the many ways that we're continuously working to become one of the easiest companies in the industry to do business with. Help software can be used to place orders for units and spare parts, check lead times, download resources, and more.
Visit www.na.condairhealth.com to register or log into your help software account. Navigate to the Projects tab to add a new humidification project. Select the plus sign to add a new humidifier. Set system type to in-duct humidification. Set calculation method to adiabatic for the water droplet. Enter the internal dimensions of the duct, not the size of the humidification unit desired. Help software will determine the appropriate humidifier dimensions. Maximum duct width for a DL unit is 330.7 inches or 8,400 millimeters, and maximum duct height is 157.5 inches or 4,000 millimeters. Outside air is directly related to the amount of humidification capacity required. The more outside air brought in, the higher the humidification load. To ensure proper performance of the humidifier, sizing must be based on the maximum amount of outside air. Note that the outside air percentage will affect the quantity and configuration of nozzles required. Maximum air velocity for the DL series is 492.13 feet per minute, or 2.5 meters per second, or 787.4 feet per minute, or 4 meters per second with a droplet separator. Selecting Use Outside Design Conditions will pull the ASHRAE weather data for your project location. Select Override Outside Design Conditions to enter a custom altitude, outside temperature, and outside humidity. Entering temperature represents the air temperature entering the humidifier. If there's a preheat coil upstream of the humidifier, entering temperature is equal to the air temperature leaving this preheat coil. It is important that this value is accurate as it will affect the sizing and performance of the humidifier. A summary of the load calculation, including the total humidification load, will be shown here. Scrolling down, you will see 3 tabs: Schematic, Chart, and Parameters. Selecting the Schematic tab will show a model of the space according to the conditions you've entered. Under the Chart tab, the process will be displayed on a psychrometric chart. The mixed air will enter and be preheated prior to entering the DL, and the adiabatic cooling effect will reduce the temperature and raise the humidity, and then the air will be heated to reach space design conditions. Under the Parameters tab, you'll find a chart with the details of each parameter.
Once you're finished with sizing, select the Next button to move to the Humidifier Selection tab where you'll configure your product.
Select DL Series.
Now, the Configure Product section will appear below. On the right-hand side will be a summary of the system based on the design conditions that you specified,
including the temperature drop due to the adiabatic cooling effect, the amount of preheat required, total pressure drop across the humidifier, estimated water to drain, total water sprayed by the system, total weight of the system, and the length of the air handler feed-throughs to run the hoses through to the nozzle grid. Now to configure the system. First, you will choose whether the application requires a Type A system with a VFD booster pump or a Type B system without. Most applications will use a Type A system. The booster pump ensures efficient performance of the low-pressure nozzles, helping to overcome static pressure in the duct and improving modulation above 60 to 70% capacity, which allows for finer control. The number of stages is related to the level of control accuracy. The unit will activate groups of nozzles in stages. More stages means higher precision, since the capacity is divided amongst a higher number of nozzles. For painting applications, we offer a silicone-free model that will ensure components are free of any silicone residue after production. Here you will specify whether the connections leading to the nozzle grid will be entering on the left or right side of the duct. Checking this box notifies Condair that access space is required below the nozzle grid. Cable length refers to the distance between the control and central unit. The control and central unit rack is required for UL certification and is included with every order, so this value will always be less than 3 feet. Hose length refers to the length of hose required between the central unit and nozzle grid, so choose this according to how far away the central unit will be located. If none of the options in the list correspond to the exact value that you need, the hose can be cut on site. Section length refers to the total length of the unit from the start of the nozzle grid to the end of the ceramics. Maximum duct height, or Hmax, is equal to the internal height of the duct, which is H1 plus the depth of the drain pan, or H2. This value must be accurate. If maximum duct height is less than the value entered for duct height on the previous page, order entry cannot be processed. Selecting the external valve block means that the valve block will be located external to the central unit, allowing the central unit to be placed up to 82 feet or 25 meters away from the air handler. Note that if this feature is selected, hose length then becomes the distance from the valve block to the nozzle grid, rather than from the central unit to the nozzle grid. Distance to pump will appear if the external valve block is selected. This refers to the distance from the central unit to the valve block. The droplet separator will be automatically selected if air velocity exceeds 492.13 feet per minute or 2.5 meters per second. Next, select which options you'd like to include.
This leak detection system, when installed, provides an additional sensor to protect against leaking. It will trigger an alarm if water is detected accumulating in the bottom of the central unit or on the surrounding floor.
The external dosage relay allows for germ neutralization using hydrogen peroxide rather than silver ions. This is typically used for painting applications, but is also a good option for users who do not wish to use silver ion neutralization for other reasons. The sterile filter with automatic self-monitoring is a 5-micron filter installed upstream of the booster pump, which helps to extend the life of the booster pump and provides additional hygiene safety. External drain is used to flush the supply pipe between the RO system to the DL. The water in the pipe will be flushed out to drain rather than flowing through the system. This is useful for applications with special circumstances that would require additional hygiene functions. For example, when there's a long supply pipe to the DL. Please note that extra space is required for the external piping. The disinfection for service option adds a T connector and check valves into the DL hydraulic unit so that a disinfectant can be introduced rather than having to disassemble the connections. This option is not recommended for systems with loads above 400 pounds per hour due to the pressure loss caused by the elbow connectors and check valve. Selecting the compressed air flushing option will add additional connection points that allow the hydraulic unit to be cleaned by compressed air flushing. This is good for applications with special hygiene circumstances, such as pharmaceuticals. It's also useful for giving the system a thorough clean before a summer shutdown or during inspections. The external water filter is an additional filter that's installed at the water inlet prior to the central unit, adding another filter into the system in case the water leaving the RO system is not completely pure. We recommend using this option if you're using a reverse osmosis system by others. The water temperature monitoring option protects the system from freezing and prevents microbial growth by triggering a 2-stage temperature flush of the entire water circuit if the water temperature is either too high or too low. This option is good for both outdoor applications and for Legionella risk management as per ASHRAE 188. The clamping bracket is an inexpensive option that is necessary for all DL projects. Air bypass under the ceramics can lead to lower system efficiency, so the clamping brackets hold the rubber sealing in place against the bottom of the drain pan, preventing it from lifting due to the air velocity. Once you've selected all your options, you can view a summary at the bottom of the screen. When you're satisfied with your selection, hit Next. Distributors are not required for adiabatic humidification, so you can hit Next again. Next, you'll add the controls. Select whether you'll be using controls by Condair or controls by others. Then, choose your signal type, number of channels, and where H will be located. You can add an outdoor temperature sensor, which will prevent condensation on windows and building structures by adjusting the humidity control set point according to outdoor temperature. An air-proofing switch and high-limit device are always required, whether supplied by Condair or by others. The DL is equipped with the next-generation Condair integrated controller, which includes Modbus and BACnet testing laboratories, or BTL-certified BACnet IP and BACnet MSTP as standard. Selecting these here does not add any items to the bill of materials, but ensures the unit ships ready to be configured. Lawnworks capability via an add-on card can be selected for an additional charge. Select Generate to add the controls to the bill of materials. Then hit Next. Select any accessories you'd like to include, and then click Next. Now you'll be able to view a summary of the full system selection. One DL consists of several components, all of which are indicated with the DL_ prefix. Once you're satisfied with your selection, click Done to go back to the project overview. When you're ready to submit the order, simply select the truck icon. Help will prompt you for some basic information about the order and then submit it directly to Condair, bypassing the need for order processing.
You've now successfully sized and selected your DL humidification system. For quick reference, we've created a DL selection guide that can be downloaded directly from the DL webpage.
For help with any of your humidification projects or for any questions about the DL, be sure to contact your local Condair representative. Visit condair.com for more information about the Condair DL Series hybrid humidifier.